With your help, we're going to win this state, and this November, we're going to win the White House, and we're going to take back our country. Right, Henry? One of the most important issues in this race is which candidate can rescue the American economy and save the American dream. You don't hear about the American dream for quite a while. It's the American nightmare right now. Under the Trump administration, you were far better off. Your family was better off. Your neighbors were better off. Your communities were better off. And our country was a lot better off than it is today. Today, our country is going to hell. It's going to hell. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Millions and millions of people pouring in from places unknown. America was stronger, richer, safer, and more confident than ever when I was sitting behind that beautiful Resolute desk in the Oval Office. Together, we built the greatest economy in the history of the world with record tax cuts, record regulation cuts, record energy production. We were doing a lot of records. And rising wages for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. That's why Hispanic Americans, African Americans, Asian Americans, women, men, young students with a brilliant education, young students with no diploma, no education to speak of. Every single group was doing better. There wasn't a group that was not doing as well. But then crooked Joe Biden came in and began waging an all-out economic war on our great middle class. That's what's happened, by the way. That's what's happened. Let's compare the smoldering records of Bidenomics. How about that name, Bidenomics? With the incredible success we had just 3 years ago under President Trump on Maganomics. You ever hear that term? I just heard it. And I like it. I said, let's use it every once in a while. Let's use it in South Carolina. Under Biden, we've had a 3-year inflation rate of over 30%, and inflation was higher than expected. Yet again, you see, they just announced the numbers 2 days ago. It's back. 60% of Americans are now struggling to pay for their groceries. You didn't have that. And as Crooked Joe himself foolishly pointed out on Sunday, it's not just that prices are getting higher, it's that packages are getting smaller. Thank you for telling that, Crooked Joe. Worst president in the history of our country, by far. In fact, Jimmy Carter is a very happy man because his administration is brilliant by comparison. Under my leadership, you had virtually no inflation, and there was no such thing as Joe Biden's shrinkflation. You ever hear that one? Shrink. That's his new name he comes up with. Under Crooked Joe, energy prices have reached the highest in history, and gas prices have reached $5, $6, and even $7 a gallon. And now it seems like they're going up again. They're doing everything they can. They'll use anybody, send it around. They want to do anything they can. But after the election, we can't let them win. We're not going to have a country. But after the election, if a tragedy happened, like happened 3 years ago, that was a tragedy, what happened. That was a tragedy. Look what's happened to our country. Our country's gone to hell. But if a tragedy happened, you'd see prices, energy prices go up double and triple. 3 years ago, under my leadership, we had energy independence and soon would have had energy dominance. We're going to be dominant all over the world. We were behind Saudi Arabia, Russia. Within the first year, we were way beyond them in terms, we have more liquid gold under our feet, just think of it, than any other nation. And we don't want to use it. They want to go all electric cars. Isn't that a great idea? They don't go far. I had gas, think of the gasoline, gas prices, and we had some times where it was below this number, $1.87 per gallon. Think of that. Doesn't that sound good? You could buy those big, beautiful trucks. Now you say, let's get a little one. Thanks to Bidenomics, a 30-year mortgage rate has hit a 22-year high, the highest in over 22 years. Average mortgage payments now a brutal $3,322 a month. When I was president, the average monthly mortgage payment was $1,700 a month, nearly 50% less than what you're doing right now. You had a savings with me of $19,000 a year. That's a lot. And this is an affordability crisis. Remember, under crooked Joe Biden, credit card debt is the highest in history. Never been higher. That's a tragic number. Over $1 trillion for the first time ever. It's never been even close to that. 62% of Americans now report living paycheck to paycheck. Under President Trump, Americans liberated themselves from debt by paying off roughly $150 billion from their credit cards, the only major decline in decades, the first time in decades that it was happening. And while Crooked Joe likes to brag about the stock market, the truth is his record is horrendous when you correct for inflation, which is an amazing number after adjusting for all that has taken place over the last couple of years. But think of it, with all of the inflation and everything else, the stock market is up just 8% total for the entire period. By contrast, under my leadership, the stock market was up by an astounding 62% with inflation almost at zero, 62%. In short, Crooked Joe Biden did our economy exactly what he did to our border. He's done it to our economy and our border.